بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Last time we discussed the end of Ghazwat al-Khandaq and the leaving of Bani Qurayza, the way they were killed. And when the Jews have left Medina, there were still small groups left in Medina, Jews not related to Bani Qaynuqa', Bani Qurayza or Bani Nudayr. They were just small groups, but they're not within these big three tribes. One man that I forgot to mention who was present with Bani Qurayza was Huyay ibn Akhtab. He was at Bani Qurayza, although he was from Bani Nudayr, and he's the one who started grouping the whole people for the trench. He was present with Bani Qurayza when they surrounded and they were killed. So Huyay ibn Akhtab was killed with Bani Qurayza on that day. Now, from following that, the Prophet ﷺ started taking retribution from all the tribes that helped the trench, because it was the Al-Ahzab, which are the parties, multiple parties from different tribes. They all came together to group. So every single tribe that was involved in this have to be punished. And this was multiple battalions and Ghazwa that has happened. Now, in the year 5 Hijri, which is the same year of all this, Ghatafan, who came with the groups, and they had, if they grouped altogether, Ghatafan on their own can have 10,000 men to fight. But they had 4,000 present within the group of Al-Ahzab. But they couldn't feel good that they have to leave and not get anything from Al-Madinah and Muslims. And their leader, you will remember this name because it will come later in the next few days, a few times inshallah, Huyay ibn Husn. He used to be called the Ubayd idiot. He was literally an idiot who had no proper wisdom to be a leader. But no matter what he says, the whole people of Ghatafan will obey. He will say, throw yourselves off the cliff, they will, because he is their leader. But he has no wisdom. So he was nicknamed in the Arab Peninsula the Ubayd idiot, Al-Ahmaq al-Muta'a. His son decided to go, his son Fuzara took few men and decided to attack Medina. And they came to the outskirts of Medina, to the area which has lots of trees, and they call it Al-Ghaba, which is the forest. It's lots of trees, lots of crops. He went in with his group, sudden attack, where people were just cultivating and doing their usual farming. He killed a man and captured his wife, took few camels and ran back. The man he killed was the son of Abu Dharr, radiyallahu anhu. The farmers saw this attack. They ran towards Medina to start shouting that they've been attacked. The first man they met was Salam ibn al-Akwa', radiyallahu anhu. Salam ibn al-Akwa', he was on his camel. He saw them running, he said, what's going on? They told him, and he made a big scream, which is the shout of calling for help. The Arabs say, wa sabaha, what a day. That means something is wrong. He gave his camel to one of the Sahabi, said, go to the Prophet and tell him. And he ran. SubhanAllah, Salam ibn al-Akwa', the Prophet ﷺ said, the best man on his feet amongst us is Salam ibn al-Akwa'. He used to race horses. That was his ability in running. So he ran after the army that attacked them. And of course, army carrying some fruits, taking some camels behind them, they're slower than just a horse that runs. And him being able to race horses, radiallahu anh, he managed to catch up with them. And he started throwing them with arrows. When they saw their arrows, they slowed down, turned back, wanted to attack him. He would run back. Okay, fine, he's gone. They turned back. he will attack them again. And he kept playing them kind of a cat and mouse game until the first troops from the Prophet ﷺ he sent arrived. Because when the farmers reached Medina, the Prophet ﷺ sent a group led by Sa'd ibn Zayd, and he said, you go with them, we will follow, just to prepare. This is Ghatafan. You know, if we are to attack, we don't know how many there are, hundreds, thousands, we have no clue, so we have to be prepared. And preparing an army within minutes is not easy. So he sent a first short but small battalion, and he followed them afterwards. By the time Salam ibn al-Akwa kept distracting them, Fuzara, the son of Uyayna, noticed, okay, this man is playing game. There must be some help coming. So he left 4 men to keep him busy and left with the rest of the army. So as the Muslims who came the first lot arrived, one of the Muslims ran suddenly and started wanting to fight, and he was killed. Rahmatullahi alayhi, subhanallah, one of the Ansar. After a while, with a small fight, one of the Sahaba radiallahu anh, Abu Qatada, managed to kill one of them, and the 3 others saw one of their friends die, and then there's a bigger group of army attending. They ran to follow their own big group, and they kept following them. Abu Qatada, there's a little trick or a known sign amongst the Arabs that if you kill someone, you put a part of your clothes on that person, meaning that whatever he has on him is yours as a booty. So Abu Qatada took his kind of a cloth on top and covered him with it. So whoever comes knows that whatever is on this man is his. And they started running. As they started, the Prophet ﷺ arrived with a group of the rest of his Sahaba who could come with him. And the Sahaba saw Abu Qatada's clothes covering and said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Abu Qatada is dead. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, this is the man killed by Abu Qatada. Uncover him. And it uncovered and found that it wasn't Abu Qatada. So he said, leave him, that's for Abu Qatada. And they carried on. While they were running, one of the Sahaba, again following them, managed to find the 3 that were running back. 2 of them were on the same camel. So when a camel carries 2 men, it's even slower. So he managed, subhanAllah, to get a spear and throw it and hit the first and the second in one spear. And they dropped dead. They wanted to go. The Prophet managed to catch up with them and said, okay, what's happened? They explained everything. Salam ibn al-Akwa said, Ya Rasulullah, let us follow them. We're about to reach them. And the Prophet ﷺ said, no. At this time, they are already in their own tribe. If we try to go, we're not prepared. And Ghatafan is not a small tribe, so time will come for it. Let's return. And they return. The woman who was captured, the daughter-in-law of Abu Dharr, managed at night to untie herself, went to the camels that were taken and found one of the camels was for the Prophet ﷺ. So she managed somehow to get it down, get on it, but she didn't know how to go to Medina. Women never traveled on their own, so they don't know the stars and the signs. So she said, Bismillah, oh Allah, make this camel take me to Medina, to the Prophet ﷺ. And if it does, as a devotion, I have a nadhr that I will slaughter it for you as a thank you to Allah. SubhanAllah, the camel kept going and going and going, and she was in Medina. She arrived there, saw the Prophet ﷺ, told him the whole story. Said, this is what happened, and now, Ya Rasulullah, this is your camel, but I have made a nadhr to Allah that if I arrive safe, I will slaughter it for the sake of Allah. Said, what a bad deed. As a return, you are giving it. It saves your life, and you want to kill it. What a return. But subhanAllah, this is the human nature. Ya Allah, if I want to do something, but if the Prophet ﷺ gave her something that we take up to now as fiqh, that no one should make a nether on what he or she does not own. And she did not own that camel to slaughter it. So they say, no, this nether is eliminated, you cannot fulfill it. End of story. But this is how humans, as a return favor, subhanAllah. Also in that same year, 5th Hijri, was the battalion called the Battalion of Dhil Qussa. Muhammad ibn Salama, radiallahu anhu, Allah sent him with a group of men to the tribe of Bani Almustaliq, one of the tribes again that were part of the troops for the trench. All the tribes knew now that Muhammad ﷺ and the Muslims will be seeking revenge, whatever they can call it. So they were alert and awake. And Muhammad ibn Maslama tried to go, but he wasn't aware that they're prepared and far away from their land. So as soon as he tried to reach, they attacked him and the Muslims. They killed the battalion and injured Muhammad ibn Maslama only, and he managed to escape back to Medina. Within a short while, Prophet ﷺ got another group to go to Bani Almustaliq again. Subhanallah. And Muhammad ibn Maslama, when his friends died, he was injured. He could not return first. He made himself as if he's dead. So he laid on the ground. Of course, they have to double check, treble check that they killed everybody, and he laid and laid and laid. They left. He was afraid to get up until a man was passing by and said, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." So he heard an Islamic word. He said, "I am not dead yet." So that man took him and went to Medina and told the Prophet about it, subhanAllah. So the Prophet ﷺ sent Abu Ubaidah, Amir ibn al-Jarrah, radiallahu anhu, with another battalion to Bani Almustaliq very quickly, straight away. And Abu Ubaidah managed to get some of their wealth, conquer them, attack them, and he captured a man from there as well. At the same year, that's all in 5th Hijri, everything in sequence. You can see that Prophet ﷺ didn't have time to rest, neither the Sahaba throughout. He sent another battalion, what's called Al-Jamum, battalion of Al-Jamum, to Bani Sulaym, another group that were in the Al-Khandaq. And this was led by Zayd ibn Haritha, radiallahu anhu. And Zayd, again, he managed within a short period to take everything, all their wealth, and they ran away in front of him, and he returned safe, radiallahu anhu. So now there's a lot happening around in Arabia, and everybody is having a feel of the power of the Muslims. Although they attacked them and they've just about left back to their homes, the Muslims are attacking back. Now, the following battle was a little bit of battalion not related to Al-Khandaq, but this is a battle of Al-Ais. This is a place, again, we'll come later in the seerah about it. It's northwest of Medina, mountainous area with lots of trees and caves. So any group of army can go there and hide, and you cannot find them or attack them because they're always hidden on a height. The Prophet ﷺ sent a group of Sahaba and said, you go there 4 nights. And that was the length of travel they have to do. They traveled at night and rest in the day. After 4 nights they rest there. There were 170 horsemen. It was a big group. The target was a caravan for Quraysh on its way back from Asham. So now it's Quraysh, not attacking Quraysh, but attacking their wealth, which is part of, again, what they used to attack the Muslims. And the leader of this was Zayd ibn Haritha, radiallahu anhu, again. So Zayd went up the mountains, in the caves, stayed there, camped, prepared. As they saw the caravan coming, they attacked the caravan. They were not prepared. They captured the whole caravan and every single person on it alive. There were no one killed in there. So they took everything in that caravan and went back to Medina. That was a big hit to Quraysh. One of the men in that caravan, we mentioned before in Badr, was Abu al-Asi, And he was the husband of Zainab, the daughter of Muhammad radiallahu anha. Was up till now, it was not allowed, it wasn't haram to marry non-Muslims. But he was in Mecca and she was in Medina, so they were married on paper, and each one is in one place. Prophet ﷺ had a habit of everybody that comes prisoner, they tie them next to the masjid. So they always hear the Quran, listen to the Muslims, see their behavior, their discipline, that's what we have to keep, the discipline in Islam. And as they were doing takbir, remember, as I said, in Badr, if you recall, Zainab sent to the Prophet ﷺ the necklace of her mother, Khadija, radiallahu anha, as to free her husband. And the Prophet said, I was not asked about it, what do you say? So they freed him. This time, as the Prophet said, Allahu Akbar, to pray Fajr, they heard a loud voice saying, I have given protection to Abu al-Asi. Zainab radiallahu anha giving protection to her husband. The Prophet ﷺ finished the prayer with the Sahaba and turned around and said, did you hear what I heard? They said, yes, Ya Rasulullah. I said, Wallahi, I have not been asked about it and I did not know about this. What do you want to do? They said, Ya Rasulullah, we will protect whoever the daughter of the Prophet protects. He is free with all his wealth that he came with, and all the money that he has taken from others from Quraysh that he is responsible for the sake of Zainab radiallahu anha. So as they were about to release him, the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, and for the sake of Zainab and you, mainly your brother-in-law, your son-in-law, for the sake of your son-in-law, we will free every single man captured in this caravan, but not their wealth. So they freed everybody and the wealth of Abu al-Asi only. So Abu al-Asi went back to Mecca, returned all the money, finished, asked people of Mecca, have I fulfilled my duty towards you? Said, yes, you have been very honest, very good. Said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah. And he returned to Medina, and the Prophet ﷺ returned him back to his daughter as his wife. Radiyallahu anhu. Now, in the following year, was a little bit of a break, and in Sha'ban of the 6th Hijri was the big ghazwa of Ghazwat al-Mustaliq. Why I say big ghazwa? Because there is a lot that happens within that. And some of the ulamas call it Ghazwat al-Ajaib, the ghazwa of surprises, due to what happened around the time. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was informed that Al-Harith ibn Dirar, who is the leader of Bani Almustaliq, was gathering troops, heard that the Muslims are weakened, and he wants to go and attack the Muslims. And as usual, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when news comes to him, he prepares to attack, preemptive attacks. So attack is the best way of defense. And this is how he went about it. So he planned to go there, and he gave the riot of the Muhajirin, the flag, to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And the flag of Al-Ansar, he gave it to Sa'd ibn Mu'abadah radiallahu anhu. So two flags, Al-Ansar and Muhajirin. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu got out and shouted, when they arrived to Bani Almustaliq, he shouted, they were lined up, said, say La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. You will protect your money, yourselves, your blood, and your families. So he said, we have nothing to do with that. We don't believe in any of this. It doesn't matter, we're going to fight. I said, okay, fine. The fight, as soon as the fight started, minutes, seconds, 10 men of Bani Almustaliq were killed, and suddenly Bani Almustaliq dispersed. The flag bearer they had was killed within this 10, and as we said, the flag has a big meaning in these wars. Fell down, they dispersed, and the Prophet ﷺ conquered everything and everybody. So they managed to capture everyone Bani Almustaliq and all their wealth, men, women, children, money, in minutes of a fight. When they distributed the booties, the daughter of their leader, Juwayriyah radiallahu anha, she was the to the Prophet ﷺ as part of the booty. And they were still in Bani Almustaliq. And as the Prophet ﷺ went to ask her about become Muslim, she said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa annaka Rasulullah. Straight away. She did not argue, did not ask why, how, when. She became Muslim, subhanAllah. And for the sake of her Islam, the whole Muslims started shouting amongst themselves, who would want to keep a slave related to the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So they freed all Bani Almustaliq. And this is why the wives of the Prophet ﷺ used to say amongst themselves, Juwayriyah has the highest level of respect and benefit to her own people, because for the sake of her Islam and marriage to the Prophet, the whole tribe was freed for that. So this is how the Muslims used to do it. It wasn't just a matter of, oh, we conquered, I've got this money, I've got this now, I have 10 slaves for me. No, it was a matter of the whole getting people to become Muslims. And as soon as the respect for one woman who became Muslim for her sake, as she is now the wife of the Prophet, they free everybody. So it's not a matter of just war, no. We're asking you to become Muslim. Become Muslim, you're free. It's easy. And even they didn't become Muslim, but Juwayriyah for her sake, radiyallahu anha. Now, as they were about to go to this, and the wives of Prophet ﷺ asked her later to Juwayriyah, said, how did you become Muslim so quickly? The Prophet just asked you, say la ilaha, you said it. She said, Wallahi, 3 nights before the arrivals of the Muslims, I saw a dream, a full moon flying from Medina and landing in my lap. And when I was given to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I reiterated that dream that the moon is the Prophet and Islam. So I became Muslim. So Allah has given her a sign and she understood the sign. Now on the way back, it's a long trip. What they used to do, they have places to rest, like service stations. They sit by wells to drink, rest, eat. And they stopped by one of the wells, and Abu al-Jahjah was one of the Muhajirin al-Jahjah, and he was a freed slave of Umar. We call it Mawla Umar. He wanted to take some water from there, and as he was there, one of the Ansar came, called Sinan. He wanted to take water from the well. I'll take first. No, I will take first. Who takes first water? Shaitan came amongst them, and suddenly al-Jahjah raises his sword and calls, Ya al-Muhajirin, oh Muhajirin, where are you? And Sinan raised his sword, say, Ya al-Ansar, oh Ansar, come along. And suddenly you have Ansar, Muhajirin, the brothers, standing opposite each others and about to fight. For what? Or who gets the water first? Shaitan can get to humans easy. Someone went running to the Prophet ﷺ to tell him, Prophet came angry. And you can imagine. He said, are you calling with the called names of Jahiliyyah? Which is the old days of me, tribalism, my tribe, my personality, my family. And I am still amongst you? The Prophet was still alive with them. He was still with them in that ghazwa. He wasn't in Medina and they were away. He was with them. And they're calling into this nationalism, tribalism. The Prophet ﷺ said, leave it, all this. It is stinky. Innaha muntina. It stinks, this nationalism. And Islam came, there's no difference between white, black, Arab, non-Arab, except with taqwa. We're all same. Doesn't matter where we come from. So, subhanAllah, Shaitan was about to get Muslims to fight each others, but subhanAllah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was alert and he diffused everything. Now, any little hiccup that happens, the hypocrites will pick on. And Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul was there. He said, have they done it? Or have they planned to fight us? He said, yes. He said, Wallahi, what the example of the elders of Quraysh, he means the Muhajirin, and us, is what they used to say, fatten your dog and it will eat you. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. This is how much he hated al-Muhajirin and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for Islam, as Islam. And then he said, it's all your fault, to his followers. You are the one who paying them the zakat and sadaqah and they are poor. Stop paying them, they will leave. You don't have to. This is all your fault. And wallahi, once we get to Medina, the one with highest honor, meaning himself, will kick the one with the lowest honor, meaning the Prophet ﷺ and Muhajirin. So he said the words of nifaq clearly now. It's open. One of the Muslims, mu'mins, he was amongst them from Al-Khazraj, he heard him, and he went straight to the Prophet ﷺ, and his name was Zayd ibn al-Arqam. He was about 16, 17 years old, but Iman was in his heart. So he told the Prophet the whole story. Umar ibn al-Khattab was sitting next to the Prophet. He took his sword and said, Ya Rasulullah, order me, I will kill him. He is a hypocrite, he is munafiq. Prophet ﷺ said, no, Umar, I don't want people to say Muhammad kills his companions. We will be gentle with him. But the Prophet now, it was night time, supposed to be resting. What he said, he ordered the troops to get on and let's move. It's unusual, now it's time for rest. The order was, get on your horses, on your camels, and let's carry on moving. People didn't know what's happening, but they follow the orders of the Prophet. They don't dispute him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Qusay ibn Hudayr, one of the highest leaders of Al-Ansar, was surprised by this move. So he went to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and said, Ya Rasulullah, we've moved in a time that is not usual. Is there anything wrong? He said, have you not heard what Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul said? He said, no. So he told him, he said, so and so and so and so. He said, oh Rasulullah, order me. I am from Ansar and I will kill him. He said, no, leave him. Just carry on. And they carried on traveling and traveling, only stopping for prayer, toilet, and carry on for 36 hours straight. The Prophet ﷺ wanted to get them so tired that there is no discussion, no one talks about it. But despite all this, everybody knew about it. By the time he allowed them to go down and rest, they were all so tired, so they just crashed to sleep. But the news has spread. Now Abdullah, the son of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, went to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, everybody in Medina know that I am the most lawful and faithful person to his father amongst the whole Arabia. If you are to order to kill my father, order me and I will kill him. I do not want to see my father's killer and out of my mercy to my father, kill my father's killer and end up in Jahannam. The Prophet ﷺ said, no, Abdullah, we will be kind to your father. Forget about it. This is his mercy unto the Muslims. Even the hypocrite, and he said what he said, and he means what he said, but the Prophet ﷺ will still be patient and mercy. Allah might twist his heart, because the hearts are just between two fingers of Allah. He twists them the way He wishes. So a kafir can become mu'min in seconds, and a mu'min, the highest pious person, can become kafir in seconds. May Allah steadfast our hearts, inshaAllah. Now at the last stop, when they stopped there, Aisha radiallahu anha lost her necklace in that same ghazwa. Prophet ﷺ used to, it's kind of a throw and pick a name out of his wives every time he goes in ghazwa, and the name that comes out, his wife of the name comes with him. This time Aisha was with him. And of course there was Juwayriyah who was newly wed. So Aisha was still young, little, slim. They used to put them into like cubicle. They put them down to rest, and when they want to go, they take that cubicle and put it on top of the camel. It was the days before hijab, so people knew how they looked like. So Aisha lost the necklace, and she walked around and went looking for it, and went all the way to where the toilets were, which is a bit away from the troops. And of course, the Prophet ﷺ gave order for the caravan to move. They carried that and put it on. Didn't notice, because she was light, if she's in or not, and that everybody moved. As she was returning, she found no one. She said, "La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah." They will notice when we get to Medina that I'm not there, and they would send to bring me back. She lied down, covered herself to sleep. The Prophet ﷺ used to have one of the Sahaba regularly late. Every time they stopped on any station, he would leave a Sahabi behind to collect everything. Anything they missed, they forgot, they dropped, he would collect it and then follow the troops. Now, the Muslims arrived to Medina. As they arrived in Medina, a man raced on his horse and stopped by the gates of Medina and raised his sword. And that was Abdullah, the son of Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. And he let Muslims pass, everybody coming. What is he doing? No one knew. Prophet goes in, Sahaba got in, his father coming, and he put a sword in face of his dad. He said, "You will not enter Medina until the Prophet ﷺ orders me to let you in. He is the higher honor, and you are the lower in honor." His father said, "Oh, go on, kids, step aside." And he poked his sword in the chest. Now his father knew something, he's serious. So he stopped. Someone ran to the Prophet ﷺ and told him, "Abdullah has done this, so and so and so." And he would not allow his father to come in. The Prophet sent this message, said, "Tell Abdullah that I have allowed his father to enter Medina." Allah has raised the status of Islam and of his Prophet ﷺ. And we all have read Surah Al-Munafiqun, which is a whole surah devoted to explain what the hypocrites are. And this is chapter 63, and we go verses 8 and 9. It says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, يقولون لئن رجعنا إلى المدينة ليخرجن الأعز منها الأذل." And they say, when we return to Medina, the people of the higher honor will kick out the people of the lower honor. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَكِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. And to Allah belongs the honor, and His Prophet and the mu'min, but the hypocrites do not know. And verse 9, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. O you who believe, don't let your money distract you from the dhikr of Allah. ومن يفعل ذلك فأولئك هم الخاسرون. Now, they entered Medina, still not noticing that Aisha was missed. On the way back, Safwan ibn Mu'attal was the Sahabi who was collecting everything, and suddenly he saw a woman lying down and covered. He arrived and he recognized her, said, "Aisha, may Allah give you mercy. How did you miss the troops?" And Aisha radiallahu anha said, "Wallahi, I've never seen a man as gentle and honorable. He just got the camel down, didn't look at me, walked away and said, 'Get on the camel,' and he turned his face to the other side. When I was on the camel, he came, got the camel to stand, and walked all the way to Medina, not saying any word." Now, as they were arriving Medina, again, the person who hated the Prophet ﷺ, and the hatred became even more in his heart after his son not allow him enter Medina, Abdullah ibn Ubay. He saw them, he said, the wife of your friend, the companion, not of Rasulullah, the wife of your companion and his other companion together, wallahi, she has not escaped him and he has not escaped her. He didn't say anything, he just hinted to the adultery. And this is what we call hadithul ifk, which is a slandering. He didn't say it, just hinted. And the word kept on going and going and going and spreading until some of the Sahaba spoke about it openly, that they committed adultery. And there were 3 people that did that. The news spread, and Aisha, as she entered to her house, subhanallah, she got ill. She didn't know of anything happening around her. She was just sick. And the Prophet ﷺ, hearing all this about his wife, and one of the Sahaba that he knew, he's honest and mu'min, couldn't say anything. And Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha said, Wallahi, subhanAllah, I did not feel anything that the Prophet ﷺ as different, except one thing. When I used to be sick, he was be more playful with me, as being kind to her being sick. But this time he was not playful. He was more kind of a straight personality. And I was sick, so it was not usual for him. So when she saw him, she asked, can she be looked after by her mother? Because she's ill. And he allowed her. So she moved to her father's house and she was looked after by her mother. And to teach the Muslims a lesson, Allah did not send any wahi. Because it was easy. Just Allah and Jibreel, tell them no, they're right, they're wrong, end of story, no more. But Muslims needed a harsh lesson that they should not be just talking anything without knowledge. They have to have facts before they open their mouth. But of course, this was very hard on the Prophet ﷺ and on the best of his companions, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, having his daughter being slandered. When the Prophet ﷺ could not do anything, he just got on the minbar and subhanAllah, stood on the minbar and said, people are talking about me and people in my house. And wallahi, I don't know anything except good about them. And they're talking about one of my companions, meaning Safwan ibn Attal. And wallahi, I don't know anything except good about him, and he never entered my house except with me. Now, out of this, subhanAllah, the Usayd ibn Hudayr stood up. And he was the leader of Al-Aws. And Abdullah ibn Ubay is from Al-Khazraj. He said, O Rasulullah, wallahi, if it is one of us, Al-Aws, I will kill him now. And if it is one of Al-Khazraj, order us and we will kill him now. Suddenly Sa'd ibn Ubadah, the leader of Al-Khazraj, stood up. He said, Wallahi, you are lying. You know that the person who said it is part of Al-Khazraj, and that's why you're saying it. And if it was from the Aws, you wouldn't have stood up like this. Now the Sahaba starting to quarrel. And then the Usayd stood up and said, no, you are the liar. You know who it is, and you're still hiding him and not taking any action about it. The Prophet ﷺ said, stop it, stop this quarrel. That's not what I gathered you. I want support and sort things out, not make it worse. Disperse. And left it as is. When he saw that the Sahaba are amongst themselves heated, he called 2 of the closest members of his family. Usama ibn Zayd was the son of Zayd ibn Haritha, and Ali ibn Abi Talib. There were 2 wise young men, you can tell. Usama young, Ali young. And they were wise, both of them. And he asked them, what do you think we should do? Usama ibn Zayd said, Ya Rasulullah, you know your wife is better than any of us. And wallahi, we don't know anything bad about her. And we don't know anything bad about Safwan. So it's all just whispers, and it will disappear. Allah will clear it soon. Don't ignore all this talk. Ali ibn Abi Talib, in the mind of the judge, he was Qadi radiallahu anhu, Allah gave him the knowledge, he said, Ya Rasulullah, women are too many. Meaning, you can divorce, you can marry, doesn't matter. But, as part of being fair, call her servant. There was a woman who constantly served Sayyidah Aisha regularly, and ask her, has she seen anything in the past period, recent past? So they called her. They were called Buraira or Barira. And the Prophet ﷺ said, have you seen anything bad from her? He said, La wallah, she never did anything bad or said anything bad. She's always been kind. So Ali stood up and hit her. I said, say the truth to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Wallahi, I haven't seen anything except one day. I wanted to leave and I prepared some dough. I asked her to look after it. I said, I'm going for a few minutes and back. When I came back, she didn't look after the dough and the cattle came and ate it. That's the only mistake she's ever done. So the Prophet ﷺ found there's nothing wrong, but still the words and the whispers and around too harsh. After a while, Sayyidah Aisha felt slightly better and said, okay, I want to go out of Medina to the toilets outside. And she took Mustah with her. Mustah, her son Mustah, was one of the three who openly spoke about adultery. And he said they committed adultery. It was him, Anas ibn Malik, and one of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, three of them who said it. So as they were walking, Mustah slipped and fell on her face. As she stood up, said, may Allah curse Mustah. Sayyidah Aisha said, what are you saying? What are you saying? You're cursing a man, a companion of Prophet ﷺ, and he was with him in Badr. And Mustah was more surprised. He said, have you not heard what he's saying about you? He said, no. And she told her the whole story. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha said, Wallahi, I've suddenly lost the need to go to the toilet and I had to return home. And she just returned home, didn't continue. And as she arrived there, she started crying and crying and crying. That's all she did. Her mother, father, and the Prophet ﷺ around her, and she was crying. The Prophet ﷺ saw her crying. He understood that now she knows what's going on. So he said, Ya Aisha, I remind you with taqwa Allah and do istighfar. Sayyidah Aisha was surprised. Said, when I heard that, my tears dried up. Even crying, I couldn't cry anymore. The Prophet ﷺ is doubting me. So she couldn't. She said, Wallahi, I will not do any istighfar. I haven't done anything wrong to do istighfar. And then he said, Abu Bakr said, do istighfar if you have done anything. He said, Wallahi, I will not do any istighfar. You will not believe me. If I say istighfar, I'm saying something that I have not done, I'll be lying. And I will not lie. And if I don't do istighfar and tell you I haven't done anything, you will not believe me. All I can say is like, I start thinking, like the father of Yusuf said, she forgot the name of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. Just good sabr. And seek Allah's help from what you're describing. That's all. And she's described all this, and it's in the Sahih. She said, and wallahi, I was in myself so little to imagine that Allah would send wahi to purify me. All I wanted is a dream, that the Prophet ﷺ would have a dream, and his dreams are true. And as she turned away, Prophet ﷺ had the wahi on him. And they knew it because he got shaky, sweaty, and he lied down. So Abu Bakr covered him until that phase passed, and then he woke up. He said, "O Aisha, be pleased. Allah has sent your innocence from above the 7 heavens." Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, "Get up and be grateful, say thank you to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Wallahi, I will not say thank you to anybody except Allah. She knew who to thank, not him, Allah. He is the one who gave her all this. And all this happened after that. The Prophet ﷺ went to the masjid and got on the minbar and started reading the verses of Surah An-Nur, which are verses 11 to 19. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. This is chapter 24. إن الذين جاءوا بالإفك عصبة منكم لا تحسبوه شرا لكم بل هو خير لكم. Those who came with this slandering talk are a group from you. Don't count it as something bad. It is good for you. Because it was a lesson. Keep your tongue. If you don't have any proof, you don't speak about it. لكل امرئ منهم ما اكتسب من الإثم. Each one of these people who said bad, they will have their share of bad deeds. والذي تولى كبره منهم له عذاب عظيم. And the one who has been the biggest trouble out of them, which meaning Abdullah ibn Ubay, he will have a severe punishment, a great punishment. لولا إذ سمعتموه ظن المؤمنون والمؤمنات بأنفسهم خيرا وقالوا هذا إفك مبين. If you've heard it, the mu'mins think of them good and say this is just slandering. This ayah is clarification of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. He came to his wife and his wife told him, have you heard what they're talking about? He said, what? He said, Aisha. He said, what do you think? He said, I don't know. So her husband said, would you have done it? Are you committing adultery? He said, La wallah. He said, Aisha is better than you. Do you think I would have done it? He said, La wallah. He said, Safwan is better than me. Don't talk about it. And these are the proper mu'mins. And that's this verse is in relation to this. Lawla is sami'tuhu. As you've heard it, the mu'mins think of each other's good. وَقَالُوا هَذَا إِفْكٌ مُبِينٌ. This is just slandering. لَوْلَا جَاءُوا عَلَيْهِ بِأَرْبَعَةِ شُهَدَاء. If they have come with 4 witnesses, and this is the rule, if someone comes slandering, they need 4 witnesses. فإذ لم يأتوا بالشهداء فأولئك عند الله هم الكاذبون. So if they don't come with the witnesses, these are in the eyes of Allah the liars. ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته في الدنيا والآخرة لمسكم فيما أفضتم فيه عذاب عظيم. And if it wasn't for the grace and mercy of Allah in dunya and akhirah, Allah would have affected you by a great punishment for getting involved in all this. Because the whole Muslims started talking without witnesses. إِذْ تَلَقَّوْنَهُ بِأَلْسِنَتِكُمْ. You took it with your tongues. وَتَقُولُونَ بِأَفْوَاهِكُمْ مَا لَيْسَ لَكُمْ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. And you say with your mouth what you have no knowledge of. وَتَحْسَبُونَهُ هَيِّنًا وَهُوَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ عَظِيمٌ. And you think it's simple, just chit-chat talk. In the eyes of Allah, it's something magnificent, huge, as a sin. وَلَوْلَا إِذْ سَمِعْتُمُوهُ قُلْتُمْ ما يكون لنا أن نتكلم بهذا سبحانك هذا بهتان عظيم. And if you should have, what you should have done, if you would have heard it and said, we should not talk about it, like keep quiet, we have no witnesses, this is slandering. This is what they should have done. يعظكم الله أن تعودوا لمثله أبدا إن كنتم مؤمنين. Allah is just telling you, do not do it again if you are mu'min. Like if you're not mu'min, they will say whatever they want. But if you're really mu'min, you should not come back, do it again. وَيُبَيِّنُ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْآيَاتِ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ حَكِيمٌ. And Allah is showing you the signs, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةَ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لهم عذاب أليم في الدنيا والآخرة والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. those who like that slandering and bad deeds and adultery goes amongst the Muslim and mu'mins, they will have great punishment, and a painful one, in dunya and in akhirah. And Allah knows, and you do not know. After this, the Prophet ﷺ ordered to lash 3 people, Mustih ibn Abi Mustih, Hamna bint Jahsh, and Zainab bint Jahsh. These are the 3, and the poet Hassan ibn Sabit 4. They were lashed for openly saying adultery. The others were all hinting, Chinese whispers, but these openly said the words, so they were punished. Abu Bakr radiallahu anh used to pay money to Mustih as part of sadaqah, regular sadaqah. So when his daughter was cleared and Mustih was found he was lying, he decided not to give him any more money. That's it, I'm not paying anymore. But Allah sent him a message in Surah An-Nur, verse 22. وَلَا يَأْتَلِي أُولُو الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ وَالسَّعَةِ أن يؤتوا أولي القربى والمساكين والمهاجرين في سبيل الله وليعفوا وليصفحوا ألا تحبون أن يغفر الله لكم والله غفور رحيم. Said, the ones who have the upper hand, don't stop giving money to the ones who are related to you and poor and muhajirin, and forgive and forget. Al-afu is forgive and forget. He forgot that he has done a sin, completely wipe it out. Don't you love that Allah forgive you? Allah is the all-forgiving. And Abu Bakr said, yes, I want Allah to forgive me. And he returned the payment back to Mustih as if nothing happened. I will stop as this, inshallah, and next week we'll continue from a different tack. جزاكم الله خيرا for the time. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.